Hello and welcome back to Downloadable Content. We are going to dive in with the latest news from Baron and the Warpfrog team about Blade and Sorcery. Earlier today, or yesterday, or sometime in the past, whenever you watch this video, Baron made a status report on Steam titled U12 Status Report, Drowning in Bugs. He's currently letting us know that the team is being crushed by the amount of U12 bugs right now, which is a little sad to hear. And right now the bugs sound like they're the kind that are making it impossible / unfun. So they are not going to release it in its current state, which I appreciate. It's things like dungeon rooms being invisible, door portals being glitchy, and performance issues. So that is pretty bad as far as bugs go. He also dives into the most crippling issues are stemming from these three things. As Baron mentioned in an earlier post about U12, they completely remade the whole dungeon technology to improve the dungeon generator so they can expand the system with new features. So that allowed them to eliminate third-party copyright issues. And that was the biggest reason why they couldn't release mod support in the SDK for modders. And that's why we weren't getting like moddable dungeons. So since then, moving to the new part of the technology, they're just discovering lots of things that are broken and need to be fixed. And it's those annoying stuff that you only discover until you spend a full day making a test build. The other thing is that it's Unity itself, which the game is built on. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, Unity brings its own host of new issues. And when Unity updates, it can introduce all sorts of new problems that take a lot of time to work around as in the current case. So it's a little bit of mixture, sounds like, of bugs plus a learning curve from Unity. But there is some good news here. Baron notes that as they work on it, they're taking a lot of time to improve performance issues. So U12 is coming with a big improvement on memory usage, so that should feel really nice, and we will hopefully see much better loading times. I wonder if that means we'll see much better loading times even when we have mods installed as well. And what's awesome to hear is they finally added a silly amount of new dungeon rooms for U12. And I wonder what silly means. Is that like 100 new rooms? I don't know, but I don't want to kind of speculate, but these photos look awesome. Baron says it was only supposed to be a small bonus for the update and things got carried away as they always do. But the good news here is that the new rooms look awesome and should inject a bunch of fresh new life into Outpost / Greenland while we are all waiting for the Crystal Hunt mode, which is super exciting. Seeing all these new tile sets, I mean, this is just so cool. But the bad news does mean that new rooms mean new bugs or other environmental issues to be found, diagnosed, and or fixed. And just to give us an example, one day a perfectly square chunk of the ocean went missing in one of the outdoor rooms. Just gone. But that's pretty much where the Warpfrog team is with U12, and I appreciate that they're giving us this little update just to kind of let us know, because it is unlike Warpfrog to tease like an update release. Like I believe in mid-December they gave us the road to U12, and usually when they do that, no longer than a week, 2 weeks, a month at the most does an update come out. So it did kind of feel like it was a little long of a wait since the last news. So I am happy to at least hear what's going on. He says that the guys and gals at Warpfrog are really working hard on the release though, so rest assured we will get there. Cosby has aged about 10 years in the past 3 months, so believe me, we were all eager to finish this and have the whole team move fully on the 1.0 update. And to that I say, although I am eager to get my hands on U12, it does make me a little bit sad to hear that Cosby is, sweating this or is really very anxious about this one, because if Cosby, if you're out there listening, my friend, you have made a great game and an excellent team, and we're all here rooting for you. So, don't feel bad that it's taking a long time, and I know the bugs are super frustrating to deal with, but just know that we all support you, and the work you and your team are doing are fantastic. I mean, just look at Breakables. Just that GIF alone of this wood exploding on this person. You don't see this in any other game while keeping the full physics and not having it super lag. So you and your team are doing the Lord's work. So if you need to take a breather, please take a breather. But moving on, the breakables alone just looks so cool. Just the natural wood breaking, and this is going to add so much to the game. Baron points out that breaking things is caused by force, so you don't have to worry about tapping things and finding them break super flimsy. It works really well and logically with the physics simulation. He also notes that elsewhere, doors to side rooms are working well in dungeons, although it's sad that we'll still have no crystal hunt loot implemented yet. That's coming in 1.0, but for now it will just be fun for the exploration. I would like to note that since the dungeon will be moddable, I wonder if modders can just put random loot in a mod in the current dungeon. We'll see. I wonder if that's possible. Now this part's funny. Baron says, by the way, I'm not sure if it was ever mentioned, but there are trapdoors. And interesting, Baron, last time we spoke, you said there will be no traps in the dungeon, and a trap door technically qualifies as a trap. Coincidence? I think not. Traps confirmed. Let's move on and talk about UI. In Baron's last post, they actually showed us a mock-up of the new UI or UX design, which was going to be kind of a change from the book that we're used to. It looked a little bit more futuristic, a little easier to navigate, but didn't seem to fit and with the design of the game. At least that was the player's opinion. Baron says they were legit surprised by the reactions to the new look and the book nostalgia from some of us. But he does say that folks pointed out something interesting. The book looked a bit too sci-fi and didn't really fit with the aesthetics of Blade and Sorcery. The good thing is that Baron says that they heard us and they did a bit of a switcheroo and were able to get the best of both worlds. Take a look at this. Now that looks like a little piece of a map or like a particle board with like, the paper stuck to it. It kind of reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs puts the game board, but in a good way. I do like the look of this. And honestly, this is clean, super clean. There's options, sandbox mods, and leave, I assume, just to quit the game and go back to the player home. But everything is super crisp, easy to find, and it's right there. Baron says for now, that's it. They can simply not wait for the day when they can actually drop the U12 is out news, which would be awesome. But let's actually talk about Nomad for a second, because something super exciting has happened, and it's about Nomad scripting. And before I hype you two up, Nomad scripting is not officially here, but there's some amazing news. Baron says that some tests are being done on making complex mods run in-game, and there has been some victories. So here's an example of the Mystic Hands mod made by the legendary Lineca being run on Nomad. Let's take a look at the video that Baron has added. So we can see out here, they're obviously on Nomad. We can tell by the aspect ratio. And look, the Mystic Hands spell is working in Nomad. That is pretty exciting. Just out the gate, look at that. It's working, it's there. It's obviously in Nomad, so that is amazing progress for what is going to happen. But that pretty much brings us to the end of the Steam news. Baron says that there are still bugs, still work to be done, and they still don't have a release date yet. But the great news is it's a proof of concept for the madness that is making advantage of mods to work on Quest 2, and that is a fantastic milestone. But that's all the news we have from Baron and the Warp Frog team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What feature are you most hyped for U12? And if you are a Nomad player, how awesome is it to see something like Mystic Hands working in Nomad? But that's all I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for stopping by and letting me read you the Steam news. Other than that, I have been Rob from Downloadable Content, and I will see you next time.